Billy, that's season high in points, most field goals you've had as a team, highest shooting percentage you've had as a team. What did you like offensively?
Yeah, I mean, they're a long athletic team. I thought as the game went on, we were figuring out the coverage is a little bit better of what was open. I think the turnovers was a byproduct of that in the first half where there was some things open that we weren't recognizing. And, I think the guys made some really, really good adjustments as the game went on, just recognizing, what was open and what was available. And I think we got a lot of cuts and stuff at the rim. I didn't think we had a whole lot at the rim, or at least enough at the rim in the first half. The second half, I thought we had more stuff at the basket, which is what we needed to have happen. And they did a really, really good job. I thought our guys of finding those spots to back cut and to get into the teeth of the defense, to get into the paint.
I have two questions about Zach. Did he look right to you? He was wincing after one dunk and just didn't seem like he was moving with his same thrust. I know he's trying to play through the back spasms.
Yeah, I mean, I just think this time of year, I don't think anybody's feeling, probably great. I think for him, he's had to deal with his knee. He's had to deal with his back. I think that it's a lot right now, and I'm sure he's not quite, where he wants to be physically, but, I give him a lot of credit. He's going out there and competing and playing and trying to do what he can do to help the team. But yeah, I mean, we're going to have to work through this with him a little bit, and hopefully another week or so he'll get a little bit of time, to recuperate. But he's trying to do everything he can, to help us.
And then bigger picture on him. In previous seasons, if Zach has the night he does, I know he had 6 assists, but he didn't score the level he does. That might be a loss for you guys. What does it say about the status of where you guys are at offensively that he can have a night like tonight and you can still put up the numbers you did?
Yeah, I mean, well, the thing that was encouraging is we got really, really good minutes for Kobe. I think I talked to him about before the game about just and he really, to be honest with you, made some really timely shots because the game was they were on a little bit of a run. They got up by maybe 5 or 6 points, after taking the lead, and he made some timely shots and got us back to lead. So he was really good. I thought the way they were defending Javonte, which was, one of the things I think we figured out a little bit is, they were really trying to send an extra body to Zach and to DeMar and to Vooch. And I think Javonte did a terrific job of finding opportunities to cut and open spots. He made a couple threes, but he figured things out as the game was going on when we were able to, I think, talk a little bit at halftime about how they were guarding and what they were doing and what may be open. And he really responded to that. I think the other thing too, is we got a really good, obviously an unbelievable game out of DeMar and a really, really efficient, great game out of Vooch. So, that happens. Not all these guys are going to, Zach's an elite scorer in this league's been for quite some times, but if he has a game like that, you got to try to generate good shots. And it was great to see Javonte and Kobe step up and have, the offensive nights that they had. DeMar's been doing it pretty consistently all year long. And I thought Vooch was really efficient, and I think, that was enough. I thought, as long as we could take care of the basketball and generate some good offense, I felt like we could get good quality shots. Now, whether or not we made them or not would have been something different. But, I think Zach tried to play the right way. I thought like he made an incredible play. I think it was the end of the third quarter. Like he got it out on the break, on the fast break, and he knew Kobe had made a couple shots in a row, and he turned back and he threw the ball back to him. I thought that was in my opinion, just a great play where he could have like, hey, let me try to get myself going here and let one go. And he threw it back to him. So, again, I think the guys are trying to help each other and complement each other, and they're very, very unselfish based on, who's going well and who's playing well.
I got a question about Anthony Edwards, straight line drives.
Excuse me?
Anthony Edwards, straight line drives. I mean, you guys struggled a little bit containing them, but when you face players like that with that ability, what do you need to see to prevent some of those straight line drives?
Well, one, I didn't think our crowds, I shouldn't say it, our crowds were okay on the perimeter, but like you got to meet him at the rim physically. And I'm not talking about fouling him. I'm talking about like verticality, charge, some of those things. And I think there was too many creases and cracks for him to get down. A lot of his points, in my opinion, in the first half, he had 20. It wasn't off pick and roll. It was just on straight up ISO, him just going. And we were there, but we weren't there physically, if that makes any sense. Like we were around him, but we need to put our body in between him and the basket. And, Io did a great job. One time he got a jump ball where he just went all the way in there. And I think, when a guy's going like that, you got to get a full body in there when he's in the paint, like a full, complete body in front of him, and either force him to pass it or, just try to go vertical or take a charge. I thought we were a little bit better, in the second half than we were in the first half of that. But to your point, I thought that we had a really, really hard time containing him off the dribble. And it's hard when he's, it's like DeMar, like, same thing, these great offensive players get in space. It's hard to contain them one-on-one, but you got to throw bodies at him. And I didn't think we put enough bodies in front of him in the first half at all. And I thought in the second half, we did a better job of that.
One more about Zach. With tomorrow being the second night of a back-to-back, do you anticipate him playing?
Yeah, I mean, Zach's going to play a major part in that. I think the biggest thing we've tried to do with Zach since, he's come back, from the back and the knee is to really, after every game, just take his pulse. How's he feeling? What's he going through? What's he experiencing? And then try to, make good, wise choices. So I think tomorrow, I don't want to make predictions that he's questionable or doubtful or anything like that, or he is playing. I think we need to see where he's at in the morning, see how he's feeling. And he's been pretty diligent about getting treatment. He'll get some probably tonight, and he'll get some tomorrow. And we'll see how he's feeling, and we'll probably make a decision at that point.
You talked about Javonte kind of finding some of that space when teams are double teaming other players. Mm-hmm. It seems like he's been kind of being able to take advantage of that more in recent games. Have you been working on that specifically with just trying to work that into the way that he's approaching offenses?
Well, I think Javonte's a really smart player in terms of he understands that he shot the ball well this year from the corner three. So there's some times that he's got a space, but when he has gaps and opportunities along the baseline where he sees openings, we want to give him the freedom to kind of make those cuts. There was a couple of times that he stayed spaced in the first half that he probably should have cut. And once he kind of recognized where those gaps were, I thought he really did a great job of making the game easy for DeMar, for Vooch, and for Zach, because, he got a lot of just point blank layups, and he had a great offensive night, and he was really efficient. He made some threes, but a lot of it was just him reading the floor and making those decisions on his own. And we had talked about, trying to get some slash cuts, slot cuts, cuts off the baseline just based on where the help was coming from. And he was able to figure that out.
Is he good? It sounded kind of painful when he came down on that one dunk. It was right.
I think so. I've said this last game. He's always on top of somebody, landing on somebody on the ground. It's just kind of the way he is. You know what I mean? I did not get anything that, I hope he is. I don't want to come back and, have to retract my words, but I did not hear anything that was wrong. But he plays all out. He gives you everything he has. He's aggressive. He's, he's in a constant attack mode. And I love that about him. So I think he's okay. I did not hear anything different.
This feels kind of like you kind of have to win this way. I mean, everyone's banged up right now. Zach's not feeling great. Defense wasn't, up to par. Straight line driving, talking about. Is this the kind of style you're going to have to play to win games right now?
Well, again, I feel like we made some progress in the Charlotte game, and they're a good offensive team. I think they're like 11th in the league. These guys are 9th in the league, and they got, obviously it's different because, Edwards and Towns and Russell, they can just go get it on their own, all three of them. Right. So they don't really need a lot, and they do a great job of putting them in situations to take advantage of their skill set. We've got to get more from our bench. We have to get more minutes from our bench. And, I think our bench, I thought, Tony gave us some really good minutes in the second half. I think we've got to get more from Troy Brown. I think we got to get more from Malcolm. We've got to get, more when Matt's out there. We just got to get more, from our bench. And just to come in, even from a minute standpoint, to be able to help a little bit. So I do think and this happened a little bit in the Charlotte game where we got into the second half and the rotation becomes short and you're just resting Zach for a minute or two, putting him back in, putting DeMar for a minute or two. Vooch is somebody I tried to keep consistent just with his rotation of playing, pretty much 9 minutes in the third, and then bring him back with maybe, 8 or 9 minutes in the fourth. But with Zach and DeMar, we'll just try to stagger those guys some, in the second half. But, we need some of the bench to absorb some of those minutes. And, I think that while we're not whole, I just think that as a group collectively, and our team has done a good job of this year, where when guys have been out, different guys have stepped up, but we've got to step up more collectively, in my opinion, on both ends of the floor with good quality minutes.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Thanks, Billy. Appreciate
Okay.
it. See you tomorrow.